Saturday, all. Happy moment. We're all coming together for a moment. This moment is getting a very late start. I normally start at 10 a.m. And I had half a mind to reschedule, but I got some new things that I'm getting into this weekend and some practices that I want to start on Sunday. So I was like, look, let's go ahead and just knock this out. Go ahead and take this moment. Go ahead and grasp it while we have a chance. It's been a crazy Saturday, but I am happy that we're just moving forward with our moment. Excuse me, my allergies have been driving me crazy, along with all the smoke and all the things that have been going. For those that live in the Baltimore area, the DMV area, we just had all this air pollution from the Canadian wildfires, and it was messing with your girl. Okay, I don't smoke, and so sometimes I can be very sensitive to things like that. I was very sensitive. So I'm healing up off of all of that. Today, my girls had a sleepover. I went to go pick them up this morning, run a couple of errands before my moment, got up early so I can get some things done. And we ran across a little kitten in the street that was injured. And we ended up having to get this kitten, take it to the SPCA. And then, you know, when you turn a kitten in or animal that's hurt, they want to do all this interviewing with you, which I wasn't aware of. Excuse me, y'all. The allergies. Anyway, it took up a lot of my morning. And so here I am, almost noon, getting a moment. So I know many of us will watch this on the playback. There won't be a lot of in-person or live viewers with this session. Price you got to pay sometimes. It's okay. I am happy to, I'm always blessed and honored to come across your feed, your device, and your time and your space and your energy whenever the universe allots that, whenever the universe opens that up for you. So I'm saying, hey, que sera. So thank you anyway for all of you that are tuning in right now, that will be joining in throughout the session of this moment. And thank you for those that watch me on the playback. I am more than honored in either way to exchange and engage with you. Today's moment, all of that to say, what is it that we're actually doing today? What are we focusing on today? Today's healing session is entitled, I Declare Solace in Solitude. Excuse me, y'all. I'm stuck. I told y'all I'm still healing up from all those smoke shenanigans. I declare solace in solitude. We are in a 23-week declaration series. We're at week number 18. We've been doing great work. We had the end of May, we had a Know Thyself community workshop. Very powerful. At the beginning of January, we had a prayer and purge workshop. Very powerful. And we have been doing our homework and staying dedicated all the while. So I'm excited for us to continue every week to check on one chapter after the next chapter after the next chapter of self. Chapters of self, chapters of growth, chapters of becoming. I'm excited about it. I'm so happy that you are dedicated and honored to be a part of your self-care routine. Honored to be a part of your weekly getting it all together. I'm happy to be here for you. I'm so happy you're here for me. And we're going to get into this healing session. I declare solace in solitude. Again, we've been starting on a declaration series. We've been committed to more than hoping and wishing and praying, which are all great things. But we wanted to use the authority invested within self, the power of self, to actually declare. We are no longer asking, we are demanding, we are commanding that greatness be still in our lives, that great accomplishments appear for us and happen for us, and that our wildest dreams and ambitions are reached by us. So, declaration number 18, I declare solace in solitude. I really am excited about this topic. I know I say this every week. I'm excited about this topic. I love this topic. I'm excited about solace and solitude. As an Aquarius, I am a whole expert on solitude. Okay, I'm a whole expert on finding peace within self, being with self. But even in my expertise of being the queen of the individuals, I also want to talk about some of the misconceptions with solitude, or some of the unhealthy sides. I'm not even going to say misconception. Unhealthy sides. Because a lot of people will say, like, I'm good by myself. I'd rather be by myself. I want to be by myself. But it's coming from force It's coming from fear. It's coming from trauma, disappointment, destruction. And so we cannot then say that we have solace, that we're finding comfort or peace in solitude naturally, genuinely, in a growing or a place of arrival or evolution. We're saying that in survival method, as a mode of survival, I've stuck with self, or I've depended on self, I've leaned on self, I've been one, I've isolated myself. And I'm saying that is different from where we want to go when we're talking about healing and evolving and becoming, and we're talking about finding solace in solitude. That's a different place. And I want to really go into that, and we will throughout this healing session today. I want to really go into that because you have a lot of people that think that they're okay with themselves. And the reasons and the motives behind them being okay with themselves are not okay motives. So we want to get into what does it really mean if I make that declaration over my life, if I'm in a circumstance or situation where I am declaring solace in my solitude. Right now, I stand alone. Right now, I am going after my own dream, my own ambition. I'm on my own in some shape, form, or fashion of my life and my growing. And instead of being in a place of loneliness and bitterness and anger and resentment, antisocialism, I'm going to get to a place of solace in solitude. I'm going to find peace in being me, oh my, right? Being right within myself, having peace with my own reflection, having peace with my own direction, having peace with my own being, my discovering, my own evolution, but just being at a place where when it is just me, when I am alone with just me, when I am alone with just my thoughts, when I am alone with just myself, how can I obtain true and genuine solace? I can find comfort within self. I can self-soothe. I can self-educate. I can self-motivate. I can be self-sufficient in the areas of growth, happiness, joy, and development. I do not have external factors that I am solely reliant on as it pertains to being my best self, as it pertains to having peace and happiness and being fulfilled, truly fulfilled. Now, one of the reasons that we may struggle with this area is because, especially culturally, we are a people of connection. We are a people of unity, solidarity. There's no demarcating in a lot of the cultural beliefs as it pertains to African history and culture, right? There's all are connected. And even universally, when we get into the universal science and we get into nature, all things are connected, right? Circles of life and, systems and all these things in the way that they work. We work better, best, well, in conjunction, in connection. Totally fine. Natural, normal, wonderful. I am a huge component of togetherness, of family, of friends, of circles, of compounds, of connection. Right? I believe that we need it. We were created for it. It makes us better. It teaches us. It comforts us. It incubates us. It grows us. It's necessary. But there also is a very necessary element of being outside of this being connected to all things and all people element, which is the how can I first be in self-thought? How can I first be in self-achievement, self-action, self-awareness? How can I hone those things in a healthy way that allow me to have a strong foundation? Know thyself, right? Y'all know that's like one of my favorite. I swear it's gonna be my next tattoo. Know thyself. That one of my favorite lessons left by my ancestors. Know thyself. We know that that was an instruction given to us in their survival, in the thriving, in the growing of life. And I think it very genuinely means that if you have mastered the art of self, if I've mastered the map of me, there is no place in the world that I cannot go. There is no place in life, in psychology, in theology, in any realm, any of the ologies, there's nowhere I can go and not be master, not be aware, not be capable, not be vibrant, not thrive, knowing that self, right? But I want to take that just a step further outside of connecting with yourself as a means to connect to others. How can we stop that at connecting with yourself? And when I say stop that, I don't mean like long term forever. Stop it. I mean, stop it enough that so that we can check in to make sure that it is healthy, that it is genuine, that it is solid, that it is strong, that it is true, that my connection to self is true, that my space in self is healthy, that my space and love and my life with self is adding and contributing to every single thing on the outside of me and anything that plugs into me. That I'm not using others. I'm not using entities, energies, circumstances, things to make self grow and be and smile. That instead, I have genuinely grown and nourished and nurtured a being inside of me, not out of force, not out of desperation, not out of survival, but out of choice and love. I have grown this person and I have grown this individual inside of me so that it's not that I'm dependent on other things, but I am a contribution to other things. I am a catalyst for beautiful things. I'm a catalyst for life and exuberance, and I contribute to life instead of taking from life because I'm so dependent on this, and that outside of me. And it's like, okay, let's reverse that. That is hurting us. Being dependent on these external things is hurting us. It's slowing us down. It's bringing about massive amounts of control and possession and abuse and misconceptions and misunderstandings and mishandlings of others. And we're just getting to the point we have to be like, no, you know what I'm saying? We're not gonna be in that space with one another. And most importantly, we're not gonna be in that space with self. So in our healing session today, I declare solace in solitude. I declare solace in solitude. We are going to be moving through obtaining genuine peace with self, genuine comfort with self, genuine growth with self. Okay? Before we get into how we get to these things and some of the misconceptions around these things, I want to talk about some of the components that keep us from being able to have this genuine solace with self, this genuine ability to be at peace inside of self. You have so many people like, oh, I can't spend too much time with myself, or I don't want to do that by myself, or, when I get by myself, the things I think about, the things I do. And I want us to just be like, this is the temple. This is the starting point of all the divinity that I'm looking for. All the riches, all the wealth, all the success, all the connections, everything I'm looking for. The start of that is this person right here. And I want us to be able to sit with this person, eat with this person, talk to this person, heal this person, create within this person, and be and have genuine joy and peace with it. One of the things that keeps us from doing that is the fear of the truth, fear of truth with self. Fear of truth with self. We are so afraid to be disappointed in ourselves. So many components of who we are coming from other energies and entities and different parts of our existences and our journeys that we don't necessarily even agree with or know. So we're afraid to even know ourselves. We're embarrassed to sit with self and not know self. Why do I think this way? Why do I feel this way? Why do I react this way? How do I deal with things this way? Wow, why don't I know that about myself? I didn't know that about myself. Get put into a circumstance where we are shocked at our reaction or shocked at our feelings. And it's like, I thought that I knew better. I thought that I could do better. I thought that I was someone, and times are changing. life is changing, things are happening, and we aren't keeping up with self. And so then we know we're not keeping up with self. And then again, all these misconceptions. I've believed so much that was offered to me, so much that was instilled in me, so much that was molded upon me, that now when I look at myself, I just am a project of my family. I'm a project of my community. I'm a project of my circumstances, and I don't really know who I am. If I take away this, how many of us have been there? If I take away school, those of us that's been 20 years in school, taking away that, or you take away a marriage, or you take away a part of you, a theory or an idea, a belief system. People who change religions or change thought frames, and they just get, it's like, who am I? I don't know who I am without this, or that. My children, they graduate, they go to college, it's just me in the house, or it's just me and this person in the house, or I used to do something, and I graduated from college, I'm not in school anymore, I don't know who I am. I used to work here. Y'all, it is so easy. It's easy to get caught up on the outside. It's so easy because we are beings of connection. We are beings of extension, beings of growth and network. Right? We are a field of networking. We are energy, which means energy permeates, energy illuminates, energy moves. And sometimes it's good to slow your energy down, sit with self to make sure that the core source of your energy is a powerful source, is a sustainable source, is a true and genuine source. Because as a child, my source represented one thing. I plugged into certain things to be. As a teenager, as an adolescent, as a young mom, as a young wife, and as I'm growing, the power source changes. And so I need to reacquaint myself with who I am. I need to re-fall in love with myself. I need to have conversations with myself. I need to forgive myself. I need to grow myself. I need to go back and see, like, do you still feel this way? Yeah, I have books that I have been working on for years with all these children and all these responsibilities. But outside of it being so, outside of all these other distractions that get in the way of me finishing my book, the other thing is that when I go back to the books, I go back to what I wrote, I go back to where I was. I'm not that person anymore. I don't think that way anymore. And now I'm like revising my book. And that's why I got to hurry up and get it done and just get it out there. Because as I'm growing rapidly, as I'm engaging myself rapidly, I will see, like, there's a lot of truths that have changed about me. Doesn't mean that those were falsities about my life. Those were the realities of where I was and what I was thinking. But I use this different language, and I use this different mindset, and I have this different, and a lot of us are afraid of self. We have fear of truth with self because we don't always have the courage to be honest, to be brave about ourselves. We don't always have the courage to just say, like, look, this was a belief I had out of fear. This was a belief I had out of compliance. This was a belief that was developed in manipulation. Or this was a belief that was developed out of fear and survival. There's so many things about ourselves, this single black female, strong as all hell, type of mindset that we watched. And I know myself, I watched and I glorified, and watching women do the impossible. When I sit with myself, and you realize that you're made up of misconceptions. You're made up of the mistakes, the misunderstandings, and the misconceptions of others that were molding you and putting you in place, and things that you saw, manipulations that you were a part of. And you have to go back and say, to be honest with myself would mean that I'm coming to a true acknowledgement that I don't know, that I was wrong, or that I have grown, or that that's not true, or that wasn't right. And I'm saying we're afraid sometimes of the truth with self. And I'm saying, give yourself grace. That the living journey is a journey of love and grace. It means you were living. that you thought away and you think away now. It means you were living, that you did a thing and you do a thing now. It means you were living and you were loving, that you believed in a person or people, or you believed in an energy or a circumstance. You believed in a reality and you moved a certain way, but many of us don't have the courage. And so when it comes with sitting with self, we're terrified. We're terrified of the thoughts that we've been running from. We're terrified of the history and the sad stories about ourselves and the traumatic experiences about ourselves that we think are going to make us something today. And if we allow it to, oh, it will. It will. That the people that abused you or manipulated you or took advantage of you as a child or a youth, someone that violated you or was aggressed upon you, those things can determine and destruct your today if you are not looking at them honestly, courageously, and in from a place of evolution, a perspective of healing. The healing perspective, it changes things. And when you say, oh, I could never or be by myself, what am I do? Look, y'all, I am one of the weirdest. I'm a whole introvert, extrovert. Love people, love to connect, love to communicate, um, love to teach, love to learn, love big and boisterous, but also a whole person of solitude. Love my peace, love my quiet, love my space, love my individualism, love my own thoughts, love my own energy, my own smell. I like it. And I'm saying, how do it can be such so what is it, oxymoronic, right? What, you like a person that loves people and to be by yourself? And my thing is, what I learned is, what parts of me being on my own and liking to be by myself are me genuinely being at peace with who I am, loving to grow myself, loving to nurture myself, loving to heal myself, and the powers and the beauty that I find in that. And what parts of it are me not being able to depend on others and trust others, me being hurt and manipulated or taken advantage of by others and used and exploited to the point where I'm like, I'm good on all that. What parts of it? But not having the fear of truth with self, whatever it is. I'm not afraid of what comes up, not anymore. I'm not afraid of what this brain will say. There was a time where I was like, I don't want to think about my brother and his murder, and I don't want to think about this, and I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about, my ex failed marriage or this. I just want to move forward, be happy, be great, keep going forward. The things that you thought were going to be that weren't, or circumstances where you're going back and what could you have done better and differently. I now have freed myself from fear of the truth of myself. You believed, you did, you tried, you didn't do, you rebelled, you conceded. There's all types of experiences with self that will have you being like, girl, why did you do that? Girl, what was this about? Why? What were you supposed to gather from that? What if this would have happened? And oh my gosh, that did happen. But wherever I'm going within the journey of self, the first step is going to be alleviate myself. The fear of the truth. Alleviate that. Eliminate that. And it will put us in a place where we can find solace in solitude. I'm not afraid to be with self. And I don't mean with self and a phone, with self and connected to some other device. Sometimes, I definitely, this overstimulated brain, I definitely use the TV a lot, documentaries, and I use a lot of things to keep with this busying brain. But sometimes I'm just saying, when I am sitting, when it is just, look, I have a lot of people know I have a crew. I have children. I also am an EI. I have a Greek grandgirl. So it's like I'm never being able to have the conversations with myself. But if I get those moments where I love my workout routine with my meditation and my quiet space and my candles and my music, because I have grown to love the peace I find when I am blessed enough to be with myself and with my thoughts, but the work it has taken so that when I'm with self, I don't have negative self-talk. That's not what we talk about. When I'm with self, I don't have misconceptions or fear. That's not what we deal with. When I'm with self, I'm not chastising or demeaning, or I'm not worrying and full of anxiety. I'm not so much in the present or the past, but I'm enjoying being right here with myself. Doesn't this feel good to be in a quiet space? How are you? Where are you? What are you doing? This you did was a great job. Let's do a little bit more water. Let's get in some more walks, some more cardio this week. Let's do this, let's do that. But where I am, though, in the solitude, allows me to find solace whenever that time comes. Do not make forced solitude cause you to be the reason you come in tune with self. You will regret that. That will be a traumatic experience, and it will have long-term effects of you being able to connect again with others, of you being able to be socially at ease and at peace with your environment and your surroundings. Do not be forced into solitude. Have genuine healing, divine perspective, and having solace in solitude. So when you're getting into circumstance and you are moving into, I might need some time to myself, and that's okay when you feel that and you think that. It's been a busy week at work. I have all these things that I have to do. I don't know what you are, a caterer, a wedding planner, a business person, an entrepreneur, whatever you're doing. I just want to go for this hike. I just want to go ride this bike. I want to go. But I declare solace in solitude when people aren't standing with me, when life isn't, or the circle, the community is not necessarily in agreement with me, when things aren't moving all with me. Oh, thank you so much. Peace and welcome. When those things are happening that way, I am going to declare solace and solitude. I am not going to panic at the thought. Listen, when the pandemic went down, people were in a frenzy about being with themselves, about having wiped out, cleaned out schedules, and being able to sit with self. What am I supposed to do? I can't go to the movies. I can't go skating. I can't go out to eat. It's like, you're supposed to do you. People who haven't done them. They don't know them. They haven't sat with them. They're afraid of them. Do me. Who's me? Who's me without work? Who's me without my social life? Who's me without alcohol? Who's me without this full calendar? Peace and power, beloved. How are you? I was just explaining at the beginning, I had a crazy, me and the girls, we rescued a cat today. So we started the moment very late, but I'm so glad you found it. I know you would. You always do. I love you so much. But people were like, who is me? And we're saying, no, 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 no. I declare solace in solitude. I declare that when it is just me in my space, me in my cubicle, me in the kitchen, just me in the car, just me. I'm not going to quickly turn on the radio. I'm going to quickly get somebody else on FaceTime. I'm not going to quickly, I'm going to take a second to find some solace in the solitude of myself. It only makes me better. It grows me, it nurtures me, and it boosts my ability to grow and nurture. Because guess what? What I'm putting out into the world, what I'm giving to the world, what I'm offering to the world, I know first. I loved first. Ashe. I know first. I love first. I nurture first. I care for. So the thing is, I got this on lock. I know me in when I'm around other people. I know me when I'm in my best of my performance, working and becoming and doing. But I also know and love me in just peace and quiet of myself. And because I know me in that moment, that I know the Creator. Because Yin Yame, I am one with the Creator. So how can I be one with the Creator if I'm always connected to something else? Some device, some TV show, some live stream, some news story, some latest event, some person, this circle, this group, this dinner, this, if I'm always plugged into something else, I'm not plugging into myself and I can't tune into the creator. So I declare solace in solitude. We are not freaking out when life is offering us time with self. We are not building up anxiety. We're not lying to ourselves. We're not being afraid. I'm afraid to talk to myself. I'll be disappointed. I'm afraid of what will come up, what parts of my histories will peak, what thoughts will come. Look, I've lived in fear of thoughts. I lived in fear of thoughts until I realized that I was the master. In my act, I will control my thoughts. I will control my actions. Once we get into that place with self, we no longer begin to, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what I'll say. If I'm with myself, what will I do? Who would I'm going to make the most out of my time. I love me time. Now, granted, I have a lot of other people time, which is probably why I love me time so much. But what I've learned in it is that the more work I do with God, the more God does work with me. The more work I do with God, the more work God does with me. The more I spend time loving and learning and building and developing myself, the bigger and more expansive and rewarding life becomes to me. The clearer the world becomes to me. The clearer life comes to me. The more access I have to faith and confidence and joy and peace. I declare solace in solitude. I'm not going to let anyone make me feel bad for appreciating my solitude. I'm not going to also let anyone take my solitude, and I'm not going to feel forced into it. And again, growing up the way I grew up I was a nerd. I was different from a lot of people in my family. But some of the things I liked and did, especially my sisters and my mom. And that's forced solitude. Some people get incarcerated. Some people get some type of injury or get sick, and you have forced solitude. And then you become self-sufficient and you become strong and you learn yourself and spend time with yourself. Again, because of the motive, the outcome has repercussions, right? There's another side to it. I'm saying we're growing beyond that. I'm not going to be forced into loving myself. I'm going to have divine intention into finding solace in my solitude. I declare solace in solitude. When I start to overthink, my 9-year-old, he came to me the other day and he was like, Mom, I have a serious problem I want to talk to you about. And he was talking about repetitively, he was talking about worrying about things. So he's created sayings that he says to himself in order to not worry. And now what he's saying, he's obsessing about that. I totally get it. Sometimes King does something, I'll be like, this is my child. Overactive, overstimulated, overactive mind, dealing with fears and anxieties of, we're going to declare peace over that. And I had to talk to him about spiritual peace and about productively using chants to help and to grow, but not to cope, right? Not coping, but in being. And so my thing is, I declare solace in solitude. When I am alone with my thoughts, I have peace. When those thoughts start to creep in, those fears start to creep in, your past, your history, your trauma starts to take over, I am at peace with being alone with my thoughts. I am at peace with being alone with my words. I can trust myself to be alone with my words. I'm not going to stand in front of a mirror with myself and just me and be abusive to myself. You are this. Why you? Oh my God. Don't. I'm growing to a point where I can trust myself alone with myself. I can trust my words with myself. People get by themselves and do the most heinous of things, right? Will be out in public behaving like they got some sense. Get behind closed doors and are closet drug users or intoxicators, closet eaters, closet masturbators, or, doing things to themselves and private that they would never share with the world, abusing themselves get home and, don't work out, don't eat right, don't, smoke a cigarette, don't clean yourself, whatever. You have to get to the point with yourself like, I can trust myself alone with myself. I trust myself alone with my words. I trust myself alone with my thoughts. I trust myself alone with my actions because I declare solace in solitude. And we get anxiety about being alone because of a lack of self-discipline or self-control, a lack of self-love especially. We're so afraid. The other reason why we fear solitude with self is a lack of agreement. We don't agree with ourselves. And we are afraid of the conflict that will ensue with self. If left, how many times have you heard people say, if left to my own devices, right? That means like, if you leave me, with all this money, all this time, all this free space, I'm not healthy enough for that. I'm not strong enough for that. I'm not sane enough for that. I'm not present enough for that. I'm not healed enough for that. And there are people start to get messy, start to get diabolical, start to get shifty. Their thoughts start to... I go up in there sage in my house because I don't know what your thoughts are with yourself. And I don't need them interfering with my thoughts with myself. When I know that I'm in the home or I share a space or I'm connected to anyone that has things that they go through. They're in a season. Think about being in a dark season or a dark space. Those are some thoughts you shouldn't trust yourself with. Sometimes. Those are some energies. But how do you get to a point where you don't experience that anymore? You're not so deathly afraid of being with you. You're not so deathly afraid of what you will do with yourself, about yourself, to yourself, because you found solace in solitude. Again, a lot of time we lack the agreement with self, so we're afraid of that. Agree. We want so badly to be agreed with. We want to agree with other people. Agree with yourself. Be with yourself and say, you know what? You did good. I agree with this. This is my plan. I'm in agreement with it. Sometimes we'll make a plan and be like, child, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't even know why I'm even planning this. I'm not even going to agree with yourself. You've done a beautiful job, Ashe. You've done amazing, Ashe. I agree with myself. You're doing the best you can. Sometimes we won't even agree with that. You're doing the best you can. But I could, but I agree with yourself. Be in agreement with your life. Be in agreement with your journey. Be in agreement with where you are. And then I declare solace in solitude. I don't have to be afraid of the conflict within me. I don't have to be afraid of being in conflict with self because I found solace in my solitude. I find comfort in sitting with me. I trust myself with me. You might not be gentle with me. You might not be considerate with me. You may not be genuine with me. But I am. I'm loving and learning myself so much that I have become a comfort for me. I trust myself. I am going to be kind and I will consider myself. Well, that has not always been the case. That is not the case for all of us all the time. And so we're afraid to be by myself. I don't know. I don't want to make this choice by myself. I need somebody. Go with me. Help me. Because I don't trust myself. Genuinely don't. I'm going to want to make somebody else happy before I make myself happy. I've grown past that. If somebody else is louder or more aggressive, I'm going to do what they want to do. I declare solace in solitude. I am not going to be afraid of who I am. I am not going to be afraid of where I'm going, and I'm not going to be afraid of what I need to be. And when I sit with myself, the best will happen. When I reflect with self, the best outcomes are coming. When I plug back into self, it is a holy, sacred place for me to plug into. It is a place that I can trust. I trust these thoughts. Well, I was going to, but I wasn't sure and I didn't know. I trust these thoughts. How do we get to that place? I trust these feelings. I felt a certain way, but I wasn't sure if it was just me, or if it was you, or if it was... I trust these feelings. Because I love this person and I work with this person. I live with this person. I nurture this person. And I trust her. I declare solace in solitude. I declare solace in solitude. I am okay with where I am. So I agree with myself. I'm in agreement with the amount of money I want to make, can make, will make. I'm in agreement with the relationship. I don't have an idea of a relationship that I want and settle for one that's not that. That's conflict. That puts me at a fear of sitting with myself because then I have to answer to myself. And I'm disappointed in myself. And I have to look at myself. And I'm disgusted. I agree with myself. I agree that I can do better with the thought that come. I agree with that thought. Or I agree that I've done great. Or I agree that I've grown. Or I agree that I deserve this and I've gotten it. I agree. Agreement. I have agreement with myself. And because we lack agreement, a lot of times, we lack the ability. What do I want to eat? I want to eat this. What do you want to do? I want to go here. We have a thought within ourselves, and then we quickly rebuke it. Or we rebuttal. We offer a rebuttal. We offer an excuse. We offer some fear. We offer a low vibration to a high vibration thought, and it's conflict. It becomes challenge now. When all I needed to do was agree. You going jogging today? I agree with that. You're going to get up today. You're going to make your goals. I agree with that. You're going to have peace all day. I'm in agreement with myself. Self said self. We're having a good day today. I get up. I go through. It's a little hurt kitten in the street. I'm still having a good day. I'm in agreement with myself that today is going to be a good day. The calls that come in, the mishaps, I don't care. I agree with myself so that at the end of the day, I don't have to lay with myself. Tell my girl, you didn't do nothing you needed to do. This was a waste of a day. You wasted your time. You wasted your money. This is what we do and say and be, and then it breaks down self-trust. It breaks down self-accountability and self-reliability. Self-reliability breaks down the self-accountability, and we don't trust and aren't true to self. Agree with yourself. You know what? You didn't make everything happen that you wanted to today, but you did a really good job. You tried your hardest. I was really proud of how you handled that conversation. I was really proud of how you took that curveball. I agree. I agree with you. Nah, but this is what we do. I agree with myself. We do not lack agreement with self. I declare solace in solitude. If it's just my thoughts, if it is just my intention, if it is just my energy, it's not something that I'm going to be afraid of. It's not something I'm going to be deterred from. It's not something that I'll run from. I'll embrace it. I will trust it. I will seek it. I will seek, y'all. Sis will seek solitude. Trust me. I need it. I need peace. I need some moment. I need a moment. We're all here for a moment. We need a moment, right? I declare solace in solitude. Again, not forced. Not people who say, I've been alone my whole life. I love it. That's dysfunctional. I was alone for this amount of times. I was divorced and I couldn't, people lied to me, hit me. So now I'm on my own. Forced solitude, that's where we're going next. Forced solitude does not afford you and award you the same benefits, the same growth as divine perception solitude, as a healing decision. Once you realize, if I was forced into solitude, if you were orphaned or your parents were there and you just were all ball out and you were the black sheep and you just were forced into solitude, you did not gain all the greatness and all the benefits of self-love that you needed. You grab self-sufficiency as a coping mechanism. Therefore, you will only know it and use it as a survival method, and you won't know it as a thriving mechanism. And those are two different things. Surviving mechanism, thriving mechanism. Two totally different things. And so if you have those, once you get that understanding, you go back. Myself, I do it all the time. You have to go back where I learned it, how I learned it, why I learned it. And now how can I relearn it for where I'm going, for where I am, for where I want to be. So last, just like what I'm talking about, self-solace versus surface solace, right? This becomes our struggle in solitude with self. Self-solace as opposed to surface solace. That's what we were just literally just talking about. And how we can confuse the two to say that, oh, I love myself. Well, I love being with myself, girl. I just go shopping with myself. I just sit up here and watch my shows, and I just do this little thing, this and that by myself. And my thing is, again, you can be in a surface relationship with yourself, just like you can be in a surface relationship with someone else, where you can go places with someone, you can spend time with them, you can have intimate moments with them, but you aren't honest, and you aren't transparent, and you aren't truly connected, and you keep walls up, and you keep guarded. You can do that with yourself. You can have surface solace with self. So how do we have true self-solace? Solace in solitude. How do I have true self-solace and not surface solace? Again, because surface solace comes from survival. It comes as forced. You were forced to learn yourself, love yourself, lean on yourself. And therefore, you do not appropriately share yourself with others. And there's no balance in others and self. Which means that what you have here with just you is built on a faulty, low vibrational foundation. And therefore, when it comes to actually trusting, letting walls down, growing, connecting, uniting, you fiercely cling to self. What we're talking about when we're talking about declaring solace and solitude, we're not talking about a fear cling to self. We're talking about a loving connection to self. I don't veer far away from myself. I don't leave myself alone. I don't deceive myself. I don't ignore myself. I don't hurt myself because I love and respect myself. Not that I'm only with me. I'm never going to be with, I don't trust any, only what I saw, only what I do, only because I don't know about anybody else. Those are two different connections. Self-solace, surface solace. One is close to self-sabotage, right? We'll sabotage relationships and opportunities and with others and other entities and opportunities and possibilities because we're afraid of. This is not about loving yourself because you're afraid of others or because you hate others. Self-solace is not about the opposite of external. It is about embracing internal. Hey, DJ, run that back. Self-solace is not about the opposite of external. It is about embracing the internal. Truly, healthily, lovingly, safely embracing your internal, where you are, who you are. So self-solace versus surface solace. If you're out there and you're like, girl, I do love myself. I go get my nails done. I go I'll do my bubble bath. I go get my massage. I want to be by myself. I wanted you to say why. If it's because, I really do have a lot on my mind. I love to process my thoughts in peace. I like to reaffirm myself. I like to plan for myself. I like to have conversations with myself. Then I would say, okay, you're doing good work with self. But if you say, because people get on my nerves, and I don't trust people, and I don't like kids, and every time somebody want to tell you what to do and what they want to do, you got to eat what they... I would say that's surface solace. On the surface, you look very self-sufficient. On the surface, you look like you are good all by yourself. You do things on your own. You're a loner, and you just sick with yourself. But deep down inside, it's coming from a place of turmoil and anti-others. And that's not, again, when we talk about being a people of connection and network and unity, you're demarcating. So if you got walls up around yourself, so you'll sit with yourself but don't talk to yourself. You'll sit with yourself but won't work on yourself. You'll sit with yourself but not heal yourself. You sit with yourself but not affirm yourself. That means you have walls up still, even within self, even with yourself. You can do that. Like I said, we do it in relationships all the time. I'll sit with him. I'll go on a date with him. I'll be around her. I'll talk to her. We can go to the movies, but I'm not telling her what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. I'm not being vulnerable to her. This is surface. We have a surface relationship. That's a thing. You can do the same thing to yourself. You can have a surface solace and really not have true comfort within yourself. Really not have true peace, true joy, true love, true contentment. And not only that, but go in self and come out better. Be with self and come out stronger, because it's not sincere. We don't want that. I declare solace and solitude. If I'm being forced into a situation, maybe everyone left me, or maybe I wasn't invited, I'm not freaking out about that. I'm having peace. I declare solace and solitude. Maybe this is a situation that only I can fix. This is something only I understand. This is something only I'm thinking about. It's not going to freak me out. It's not going to low vibrate me. It's not going to shortchange me. It's not going to stump me or stop me. I have solace and solitude in being able to go within in this situation or this circumstance with myself. I know I'm coming out better. I actually am excited to play around with this in my head. What is it? I'm careful and I'm intentional about my processing in a way that I have faith in it, and I admire it. I love my process and my processing of information. Let me sit with it. That should make you feel good. Let me think about it. That shouldn't bring you fear. Give me a second. Let me deal with that. That should give you confidence, right? It shouldn't do the opposite. And if it is, you're not having solace in your solitude. So I want us to say, I declare solace in my solitude. This is something I have to come make a decision about. This is something that I have to turn around. This is something that I have to do within myself. This is something I have to grow within myself, have peace and confidence and joy in it. I'm not about to, when I start to be like, oh my God, please help me. Somebody answer the phone. Somebody talk to me. What am I going to do? I can't deal with this by myself. And declare solace and solitude. I don't run from myself. My thoughts, my feelings, my emotions. I don't hide them. I don't abuse them. So on and so forth, like we spoke about today. Thank y'all for another moment. Thank you for joining me for another moment, for sticking with me through all the shenanigans of the day. Still tuning in. I did have some people to tune in. I didn't think that would be the case, but I love you and I'm grateful. Definitely grateful for all of you that'll be watching me throughout the week on your playbacks. I love you all so much. I declare solace and solitude. That's what we're doing this week. And I will see you next weekend for another moment. I'm so very grateful to you. Be blessed. Take your moments as often as you need, and always tune in, like, share, and subscribe for these moments. Thank you. Thank you. I love you.